Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. Thanks for clicking on the video. For part 2 today, we're going to be going over the NBA season awards. Things like Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved, MVP. I'll put them on the screen for you guys to see right here. We'll also, towards the end of the video, go into our predictions for the postseason, the Western Conference Finals, the Eastern Conference Finals, and then the finals matchup based off of what we picked. Again, like part 1, I'm being joined by Ryan Bevins and Bryant Valdez. Ryan Bevins does his own YouTube channel. He'll actually be posting his own version of this video, probably with a little more info in it, especially in part 1. Part 2 might be very similar, but part 1 I took a few things out that he'll probably keep in there. And regardless of whether or not you watch part 1, I would suggest subscribing to his channel as well, because he does a lot of great basketball content. I'll have it down in the description of this video. But without further ado, let's get into our first topic. It's going to be Sixth Man of the Year.
Bryant, we'll start with you. What were your 3 candidates for Sixth Man of the Year?
This was a tough one. I'm gonna go with Malik Monk for one of them. I think he's gonna have a bounce back year with the Kings. My next one is going. I don't know if he's gonna. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be on the bench. I'm gonna go with Alex Caruso for the Thunder. I like him coming off the bench. And then my next one, I really have a certain one. So I just went with Bobby Portis Jr. I think he was on a running last year, but I went with those 3.
Yeah,
okay.
I like those.
I'll go next because I actually had 2 similar to Bryant. Okay. I had who was your winner?
Oh, I had what was the first guy I said?
Alex Caruso?
Malik?
No, Malik Monk. I had
Monk.
Malik Monk winning it.
Gotcha. So I had Bobby Portis and Malik Monk as well.
Okay.
And then the other one I had was Karis LeVert. I think Karis LeVert had a solid year last year with Cleveland. Sometimes he started in a pinch if they were down a wing. But I think he's a reliable shot creator for them off the bench. They needed some offensive punch. And I think he's going to have a really good year, particularly because he's playing for Kenny Atkinson. Kenny Atkinson, I'll talk more about Kenny Atkinson, but I think he's going to be big for Cleveland's offense. I think Karis LeVert's only going to profit off that offensively, and I think he'll be in the running. But I think Bobby Portis is going to win it this year just because he's been in the running the past couple of years and hasn't won it. There will be some voter fatigue on guys like Naz Reid and Malik Monk, so I think it's Bobby Portis' year this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I get the voters fatigue on the Naz Reid. He was one of mine, but I just feel like he's got a more important role this year with Randall being there now. He's got his space to the floor. He shot really well last year too. And then the other one would be, for me, was I only had 2. I had the same one as Bryant though, Alex Caruso. I feel like Alex Caruso being on OKC. First of all, I'm big on Alex Caruso ever since he played with LA, so a little bit of a bias there. But I feel like he's going to a number 1 team in the West, and they're already fleshed out. When he comes off the bench, he's going to have that spark for them. I think he's coming off either his best shooting year or maybe his second best shooting year. I can't remember exactly.
Best shooting year.
Yeah, so he's spacing the floor for them. Like, he's going to do his job. I've never had a problem with Alex Caruso. And I really just feel like them being the number 1 team in the West is going to put that spotlight on them even more. So that would be my pick.
I thought about Caruso and Josh Hart. The only thing is I don't think their counting numbers, like their points per game, will be high enough to win Sixth Man of the Year. I think their impact is incredibly high coming off the bench, and then in closing lineups as well. Sometimes those guys will be in closing lineups. It's kind of similar to like Andre Iguodala in his years with Golden State. He was probably the most impactful sixth man, but he never won Sixth Man of the Year just because of his counting numbers weren't high. And when you're looking at guys like Lou Williams and Jamal Crawford, who are known as these 18-point per game scorers off the bench, like those are the stats that are eye-popping, and traditionally those are the stats that win you the award. But I do like you guys showing love to Caruso, and I was thinking about Josh Hart a little bit myself too.
Okay, so this next section, the beginning is a little funny. So we got a little out of order. I didn't include it, but we had done a section Coach of the Year. And so in the Coach of the Year, Ryan and I gave our Coach of the Year, and Bryant didn't. But Ryan hadn't noticed, I think. And so he moved us on to the next section of Most Improved Player. And the take is absurd in the first place. I mean, no offense to Bryant, but I don't think it's going to happen. But my understanding was when he brought up his Most Improved Player is we were talking about Coach of the Year. So that's what the miscommunication was in the beginning. But anyway, Most Improved Player.
This is a very difficult one. Can't believe I'm about to say this. I'm gonna go with Kyrie Irving.
What?
Wait, huh? What the
I'm
fuck
going
are we
with
talking
Kyrie
about?
Irving.
Wait, do you know what we're talking about?
Most improved player.
No. Wait. No. We're
Yes,
talking about Coach of the
yes.
Year.
Oh,
No, we're talking about Most Improved Player. We did Coach of the Year.
He did his Coach of the Year? Oh, okay. Sorry. Wait, Most Improved Player, Kyrie Irving.
mm-hmm.
What's he going to have to do to win that?
Well, yeah, let's hear it. How is Kyrie gonna be Most Improved Player in year 32?
Hear me out, okay? Last year he averaged 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, right? That's good stats, okay? Great stats. I think this year, and then a lot of this has to do with Jason Kidd. I feel like Jason Kidd's at the point where, okay, we know what this team can be when these guys are both healthy and they're both playing well. I think it comes to a point where in Luka's career right now, he's having the ball too much in his hands. I think Jason Kidd's main priority this year is going to let Luka come off the ball a little bit, let Kyrie handle the ball more. Because in the playoffs and finals, we saw Luka handling the ball too much and him being fatigued and tired a lot throughout the playoffs, especially in the finals. He was lazy. He just looked tired. I think this regular season, Jason Kidd's going to prioritize Luka and be like, okay, I'm going to need Kyrie to get some more shots. I'm going to need Kyrie to be more effective. You telling me Kyrie can't average more than 25 points?
Okay, yeah, but I'm saying, like, okay, if he's averaging 25, 5, and 5, right? What's he have to do? Like, what's he have to do to win a Most Improved Player? 27, Kyrie, 7, and 5, and 7, or 8? What?
No, I think if this is a big contingency. If Dallas can be like top 3 or 4 seed, which is going to be big for them, for Kyrie to win this award. If they're top 3 or 4 seed and Kyrie's averaging 30 plus, let's just say 30 flat.
30? Wait, what? 30? He's
Yeah,
never done
30.
that in his career.
Hear me out though. He was close though. He can average 30, but Kyrie's gonna be the main. I feel like he has to prioritize this year. This has gotta be the year for him. Not Luka. No offense to Luka. He has all the time to go. But Kyrie, I think this is his year.
Are you saying Kyrie's going to turn into the number 1 option?
Remember when Kyrie got traded to the Mavericks and he was taking more shots than Luka his first year there, and they were losing, but he was averaging like some crazy amount of points like every game. I feel like they should go back to that. Not the only reason it didn't work the first season because they didn't have much time to get together and like operate together.
20 games.
But now they have 2 years together. I think they know now, especially with. I mean, I don't really expect much from Klay this year, to be honest. I'm just basing off Kyrie. So I think if Kyrie can average 30 points, let's say, I think he averaged 7 assists and 5 rebounds, and in the top 3 or 4 seeds.
So he's averaged 7 assists 1 year, and the most he's averaged points wise is 27.4, and that was with the Nets twice.
Yes.
On 30 games.
You think he can go to... I don't understand. Well, okay, but the point where you really lose me is saying that they should go back to what they were doing with prioritizing Kyrie when he first got there and they were losing games instead of building off of what got them to the NBA Finals literally.
And what happened in the NBA Finals? Luka looked tired. That's what happened.
Okay, but that is literally as far as they have been. And it was their first year making it. That doesn't mean you completely revamp the system. You build off of it and you tweak it a little bit. I don't think the priority needs to be, okay, Kyrie needs to average 30 points for us to actually win the championship this year. I don't think that is the move at all.
Well,
I don't think that's kind of counterintuitive. Like we saw something that brought you to the NBA Finals. Nobody picked them to win the finals at all. The Celtics were a fucking juggernaut. There wasn't any other team that would have beat the Celtics either. And this was the first year that we saw Dallas get there. So I don't think the solution is to completely revert the system and be like, Luka, your usage is way too high. Kyrie needs to average at least 30 points. I don't think
they're not going to say it that way, but they're going to pull them aside and be like, hey, we know you're our number one option, but we need to take the pressure off you. We need to give some of the pressure to Kyrie.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fine, decreasing his usage, because he did have an incredibly high usage last year, but I don't think they need to decrease it to the point where Kyrie Irving averages a career high 13 seasons into the league. Like, I think you build off of what happened last year. I think this was one of his most efficient seasons in his career.
It was really good for him. But
I think he's settled in as like this number 2 behind Luka. I don't think he's antsy to be like, no, this needs to be my team. I need to take over shit. Like, no, Luka is an all-world talent.
Well, my second player was PG, but I'm going with Kyrie as my first.
All right.
All right. I don't really. Joe, do you have anything else to say on Kyrie? I don't
really like the Kyrie pick. I guess I'm more okay with the PG pick. But when we're talking most improved, I'm just thinking more a little younger in the player category.
I guess.
PG. Wait, hang on. PG. PG doesn't even make sense to me. How is PG gonna win most improved when he's gonna be pretty much a third option?
No, well, like you said, Joel's gonna be on. He's not gonna play back to backs like that. So I mean, that's gonna lead to PG and Maxey taking most of the burden and shit. But I really feel like.
But I just don't see that either.
Well,
I guess I get the PG one a little more than Kyrie.
Like Kyrie was out there.
I don't get PG at all. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Joe's reaction to Kyrie was funny. I ain't gonna lie.
Initially I thought you were talking about the coach, bro. I was like, wait.
Jason Kidd is fired and Kyrie Irving becomes player coach. When coach.
I thought he was trying to say like, yeah, Kyrie's taking over. He's the coach now. I was confused.
Oh man, but yeah, I got Kai.
Okay, I'll go into mine. So I had a couple, but I'm not super big on any of them really, personally. So Josh Giddey was one. I feel like it'll be a nice fit for him, on the Bulls. Then the other one I had was Jonathan Kuminga for similar reasons you had with Clay leaving. And then obviously I'm gonna go with my hot take as well. I could see Wemby winning it if he does all the other things I'd said he did. But those were my 3 for most improved.
Like that.
Okay. Gotcha. My 3, third I have Jalen Green on the Rockets. I think he's going to build off of the end of his season last year. He was on a whole nother planet last year. He was cooking shit up. I think it's because he became a father. Once he became a father, he really started to prioritize like hooping, and he needs to get a bag. I think a big motive is the fact that he didn't get a rookie extension. Like a lot of other rookies in his class got an extension. Cade, Scotty Barnes, they got their rookie extensions. Jalen Green didn't get his rookie extension, so he does have a big motive to build off of what he did towards the end of last season and have it last an entire season. So I can see him showing out in Houston. It's going to be a little hard because they have a lot of mouths to feed and a lot of young guys that are going to be clamoring for touches, but that's kind of that's why it's my third one. Second, I have Evan Mobley. I think it's kind of consistent to what I've been saying about Cleveland, their coaching, and Evan Mobley being the X factor for their team. I think they have to prioritize his development for Cleveland to improve their ceiling and to have actual championship aspirations and to be in the conversations with teams like Boston, New York, Philly, and Milwaukee. I think Evan Mobley is going to have to be the player that develops enough to push them into that conversation. And then my winner is going to be Jalen Johnson in Atlanta. I think with DeJounte Murray dipping, Rasache being a number 1 pick who isn't really going to be commanding the ball like that, and Jalen Johnson being a damn good pick and roll partner with Trae Young. He had a damn good season last year, but I think with Atlanta pivoting more towards their future and kind of trying to find the piece next to Trae Young, I think Jalen Johnson is going to be a focal point of the offense, and I think he's going to stand to improve a lot with his counting numbers and his impact and overall standing with this team.
I like it.
Yeah, good pick. The next section we're doing is Defensive Player of the Year. Not too much to this one. There's only a few candidates out there, although we do have a lot of good defenders in the league this year. You're just going to probably see more of those defenders' names being mentioned during the first team all-defense section. But anyway, let's get into it.
Okay. I'll lead us off on the Defensive Player of the Year then.
I think we all know who's
So actually, because I got 3 that I'm not sure. My pick based off of my bold prediction is obviously Wemby. But if we're talking realistically, I think Bam has a really good chance of winning this year. Bam has always been a fucking phenomenal defender. But what we saw from Bam, and obviously it's different rules, but what we saw from Bam in the Olympics was like the next level, I feel like. He was assertive. He was off the glass, too. He's like one of the best rebounders in the league probably right now. He's just a dominant big, so I feel like he's got a good shot at getting it this year, barring their record. Who knows what they're going to do like this year. But, or I guess Bryant does.
And final.
The other 2 obviously is Rudy is there. I don't think Rudy will get it. I feel like the voters' fatigue is going to get him finally. Or I guess not finally because he has missed a couple others. But I think Wemby has a solid chance of getting it. And it really matters on how well their team does. Those would be my 3.
Got you. I'll go next. I also have Bam winning. I think it's kind of his time. It's his turn. Voters will never say that they vote like that. That they kind of like view who hasn't won a Defensive Player of the Year or who hasn't won an MVP yet. They won't say that they prioritize that, but in reality they kind of do. So I kind of think it's Bam's turn to win it. I was kind of being hyperbolic when I was saying Miami wouldn't make the playoffs. I think they'll make the playoffs, and I think they'll do it off the backs of their defense. I see them being a top 5 defense in the entire league, anchored by Bam Adebayo. So that will be my reasoning for him winning it. I have Wemby being second just because of his individual impact. I still think the Spurs as a team, their defense won't be in the upper echelon of the league. But when you just look at Wemby and him doing like shit that you've never seen anybody else in the league ever do, when you look at that, it's kind of hard to like.
Yeah, I feel like it was hard last year for them. Like they were getting a lot of flack too.
Exactly. It's kind of like, especially with Defensive Player of the Year, you got to you want to value the team's performance, but then you got to look at the individual showcases that Wemby is doing, and you're like, my eyes are telling me that this dude is the greatest defender I've ever seen.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, and he's got his moments. Like he's not the best back to the basket defender. Bam's definitely better than him at that. But really anything else defensive category in the defensive category, he's just in the S tier when it comes to those. So yeah, I do feel you on the Wemby being second over Bam. Just the voters' fatigue is a big thing. I think Bam should absolutely win it this year. But fingers crossed for Wemby for me.
Oh, and my third was Chet, actually.
Really? Chet?
Yeah. Him coming into the league, he was always talked about his defensive ceiling, and OKC was one of the best defensive last year. I know they have a lot of great defensive personnel, but he anchored that defense. He was blocking shots, his positioning was on point, And I don't expect that defense to drop off. It's only going to get better when you're adding Caruso into the backcourt.
That's very true.
And yeah, I think he'll be there. I think voter fatigue is going to bite Rudy in the ass so much that he doesn't even get in the top 3.
Wow. I just think their defense is even better this year for the Timberwolves. That's the reason I still have them in there.
Yeah, that's valid.
Nice.
All right, Bryant. It's on you.
3, I'm a shock. I'm going with AD. My
Oh,
third.
I like AD though.
I like the pick.
He's been top 3 in blocks, I think, the past 3 or 4 years. Going with AD as my third. I'm going second with Bam, kind of just to piggyback off with Joseph. You watch the Olympics to see how versatile he was and how impactful he was on the defensive end. Like, it really showed.
Mm-hmm.
And then first, I'm going with Wemby. I mean, I think Rudy Gobert is never going to win another DPOY.
I'm kind of with you on that.
Over.
I think he's done with them.
4 times in a row. He's not. It's over. It's over. He's never going to win it again.
Yeah, we're out here gatekeeping the French. That's tough.
I don't think. Well, I'm saying Wemby.
That's true.
I'm going Wemby.
All right. So now we can move into the all teams. We'll start with the all defensive teams since we just did defensive player of the year. We'll start with back to you, Brian. We'll boomerang it.
All right, so this is the section where some of those other players can shine. Although the defensive player, the only caveat is that all defensive first team is positionless now. So if any of us wanted to, we could have 5 centers as our first team all defense.
All defensive first team?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, I'm going with Caruso. This is in no order, okay? I'm just going. Okay, this is Caruso, Victor, AD, I don't really have guards. Oh, well, I Drew Holiday.
It's not positionless anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, all right, never mind. So AD, Victor, Caruso. I'm gonna go with Drew Holiday because I think he was amazing. I think he'll continue that this year. And then I'm gonna go with Derek White.
2 Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
One thing I'm happy for is we have a lot of good defenders in the league right now. Like, we really do.
Indeed.
Like, the fact that it's to the point where, like, they made it positionless. I put a guard in there just because I could definitely see Chet being in there. But so my 5, I put 1 guard. I have Bam, AD. I have Rudy, and then I have Victor. And then I have Alex Caruso sneaking in there as well.
Okay.
I could absolutely see another big just taking that spot though.
Gotcha. Yeah, I kind of did the same thing. I had 4 bigs and then 1 wing. I had Bam, Wemby, Chet. I had Jaren Jackson Jr. actually instead of Rudy. Jaren Jackson won Defensive Player of the Year a couple years ago.
Right.
I think his defense kind of slid last year. Because he had a higher offensive usage with Ja being out and Desmond Bane being out for that much time. And obviously the Grizzlies team just wasn't as good and their defense wasn't as good. So he wasn't really having as impactful of a defensive year, but his offense took a whole nother leap. This year with Bane and Ja being back, he can slide back into his, he's still going to be an offensive player. He's still going to be somebody who can space the floor and create from the wing from time to time if he has a mismatch. But I think he's going to slide back into his defensive prowess and being really that anchor on the defensive end. It's going to be hard to score on Memphis in the paint with Jaren and Zach Edey down there.
Yeah, 2 big guys.
So I could see him being on the team, and maybe Zach Edey sneaking onto the second team if he's that impactful.
Maybe,
too.
Yeah.
And then the 5th spot I gave to Herb Jones. I think Herb Jones is kind of underrated. He really holds the Pelicans' defense down. Last year, the Pelicans didn't have that many point of the attack defenders on the perimeter, and it was kind of all on his lonesome. BI is not really a imposing defender. CJ is not very athletic, not very tall or lengthy. It's kind of all. It was all on Herb Jones. They put a lot of defensive responsibility on him. I think he logged the most minutes on the top scorers in the league, and he held his own for sure. And I don't see that dropping off anytime soon.
All right. Are we done for the defensive all defensive team?
Yep, that should be defensive team done.
Okay.
All right, this section is going to be on the opposite side of the ball. It's going to be our first team All-NBA. My team's going to be a little different. I'm going to stay true to part one, and I'm going to give you guys a non-American first team.
I'll start us off with the All-NBA team, first team. So I'm going to stick to what I said with the my non-American team. I've got Luka and Shea at my guards, and then Giannis. Okay, and then my fourth might not make it, but I think just because he's the focal point and he's who he is, he will. I got Nikola Jokic. And then 5 is Victor Wembanyama for me.
Okay.
All right, yeah. Going with that bold take. Yeah, I mean, if Wemby takes the jump that we all are kind of expecting him to take at this point, and the Spurs if they make the playoffs, then it would be on the back of Wemby for sure. Yeah. So that would be a case for him making the team. It is just crazy to think about, like, dude in year 2.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like, I don't want to say it because of how crazy it is, but the man is crazy. He's crazy. He's
a different breed.
Like,
you go ahead. Go next, Brent.
I got Luka and Shea. I got KD finishing first team, surprisingly. I got Luka and Shea. KD, Jokic, and then I'm gonna go. I would want to go with Victor, but I don't know if he'll have I don't know if his team's gonna be very successful that next year or this year. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go with AD.
Okay.
I think AD will have a great year this year.
Yeah, I'm expecting him to have a good year too.
You're snubbing Giannis.
Yeah, I think, I'm not. Giannis, not this year.
What?
I think the reason why is because Damian Lillard had such a not bad year, but he didn't have an impactful year last year. So I expect Dame to have the ball more in his hands this year, scoring wise. I wish he's going to drop Giannis's points per game.
I don't know, man. I think Dame had the ball in his hands plenty.
Yeah, he just
obviously he was going to have to sacrifice a little bit. But, I mean, Giannis literally... He wasn't what, my bet?
He wasn't as impactful, Dame, I felt like, last year.
Well, I mean, yeah, because he's going to play with Giannis. He was the number one option for a decade. So he's got to sacrifice a little bit.
I'm going with KD, though. I like KD this year. I feel like he's fully healthy. I feel like he's going to have a great year this year. Maybe in the MVP talks.
KD or AD?
KD.
Wait, so what are your 5 again? Could you say them? You said
Luka, Shea, KD, Jokic, and AD.
Okay. I mean, I'm not really too mad. The one thing I'll say is you got Luka making the NBA first team.
Yeah.
And Kyrie apparently taking the ball out of his hands.
Well,
how is Kyrie Irving not making All NBA first team? If Kyrie's in average 30.
He's making second team. Because look, the reason why Luka's gonna make first team is I'll tell you why. Rebounds and assists. You know he's gonna average 9 and 9. Okay. That's the only reason why. Yeah, that's the only reason why he's gonna make first team over Kai.
All right. I'll go into mine. It's kind of almost exactly what Joe had. I had Luka, Shea, Jokic, and Giannis. It's kind of impossible for me to take Giannis out. He's kind of like McDonald's, bro. You know what you're gonna get from him every year. Like, I think we're kind of getting bored with his consistent output. It's kind of like the LeBron syndrome, why he hasn't won an MVP in the past couple of years, because the dude literally had, like, statistically, the best year of his career last year, but he was 4th in MVP voting.
I would rather you say In-N-Out than McDonald's, because I don't know what I'm going to get with McDonald's, but In-N-Out, I know I'm going to get a great burger. So.
Well, McDonald's is, based off of numbers, they're the most profitable fast food restaurant. So it was just my numbers analogy.
Oh, okay.
So for that reason, I can't take Giannis out. He's got to be in there. So I have Lucas, Shea, Jokic, and Giannis. And the fifth is going to surprise you guys. I got Stephen Curry.
What?
Oh shit.
I have Stephen Curry. I think this is going to be the highest usage we see from Stephen Curry. A lot is going to be on his shoulders. Not having the splash, bro. I know Buddy Hield kind of replaces a little bit of that value, but he's getting acclimated into the system. He's not as familiar with the system as Clay is. So I think we can see Curry on demon timing. He's going to have a lot more on-ball responsibilities. I think we're going to see a lot more ISOs out of Curry. I think we're going to see him on the ball running screen and rolls, not as much running off ball because this offense is going to rely a lot on him. And I think I'm just kind of trying to speak it into existence with this being kind of his last hurrah. I'm gonna say Curry gets the 5th spot on All NBA first team this year.
Damn. It is a little bold, but the way you described it, I can see it definitely happening.
Okay.
All right, this last regular season award that we're going to get into before we get into the postseason in the next section is going to be MVP. Who do we have winning the MVP this year? And maybe who are some other candidates we can talk about that have a chance of getting it?
All right, so now the final award here, MVP. We'll go ahead and kick it off with you, Joe.
Okay. My MVP is going to be Shea. I think Shea will win it this year. I feel like he's coming off a year that he probably should have won it. I think he should have won it last year. And so if I think he should have won it last year, I feel like he's got to feel like he definitely should have won that shit. So he's going to come out with the chip on his shoulder for sure. And he doesn't have Giddey on the floor, not bringing in any shooting anymore. So I think he definitely has the best chance of winning it this year.
Who was the MVP last year, Joel?
Joel, yeah.
Oh,
no,
God.
not Joel. Nikola. Joel was the
Jokic.
year before.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, Joel didn't even make the 65 games last year.
Oh, you're right.
He was looking like the MVP of the first 20 games.
Yeah, he was looking
For
really good.
Louisville.
I guess Joel wouldn't be the worst pick either. But just because he's coming off the no back-to-backs,
he's not going to play games.
Probably not.
I'll go after. I'm probably in the same boat as Joe. I think Shea should have won it last year.
Finishing second or third behind Shea.
Brent?
Oh, you talking me?
Yeah, I think it lagged there.
Okay, my bad. I got Giannis finishing second, and I got Luka finishing third.
Okay.
Got you. I think this was a pretty easy 1, 2, 3 to make. It was kind of like 4 guys that were in consideration. But I'm gonna have Giannis win it this year. I think he's gonna be on. I think I'm kind of high on the Bucks this year. I think they did need a year to gel and coexist, specifically Dame. So I think having that year under his belt, I think they'll be a bit more comfortable with the offensive flow. Doc Rivers, okay, me saying the Bucks are going to have a successful season is not having anything to do with Doc Rivers. He's just the coach by title. I think it's all going to be on Giannis and Dame being on their shit, Lopez and Middleton being healthy, and a lot of the Bucks' younger players stepping up to the bat. And I think Giannis is going to be the focal point of that. I think he'll lead the Bucks to the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference. He'll have another top-tier efficient year, and I think he's kind of due for another MVP, actually. So I think he'll get it. For some reason, I don't really see the voters giving Shea an MVP. I don't know why.
Maybe because it's so fresh. His jump, it's still pretty fresh. We've always known he's a good player, but the MVP jump, I feel like.
Potentially. I don't know. It's just hearing Shea Gilgeous-Alexander wins MVP, it's not something that jumps off the page to me right now. I don't know why. But maybe I'll feel differently when it happens. I'll be like, yeah, it makes sense. I just feel like the voters won't give it to him.
Did you think he should have won last year?
I wouldn't have a problem of whoever won it last year. I think it could have been Luka, could have been Giannis, could have been Shea, could have been Jokic. I wouldn't have had a problem if any of them won it.
Okay.
I could see a case for all four of them. I could see a case for all three. I could see a case for Luka, Shea, and Jokic.
For me, I think
Bucks are kind of underwhelming.
It's just the only other candidate for me, I think, going into this year is going to be Giannis. Jokic is going to have the voters fatigue, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
And then who else were we talking about? Luka. I don't see him being
Luka's
nearly
due for one too.
I just don't see him being nearly as productive. Name value, obviously he's a bigger name than Shea. But I just I mean he's just looking slower and slower each year. Like he's just kind of maybe not the counting numbers, the counting stats, but just the eye test. He doesn't look the same as he did even 3 years ago, I feel like.
I don't think it'll be the numbers that hold them back. I think it'll be their team success. I'm kind of low on the Mavericks this year, even though they're coming off of a championship run or a run to the finals. I think he'll still put up his 39-9, but I don't think they'll get like a top 4 seed in the West. So I think that'll hold them back.
All right, so here's the final section. It's kind of broken into 3 parts. It's going to be Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals, and then who's going to be winning the finals out of your 2 picks. We will also be going into who our finals MVP is, but for most teams, you would kind of have an idea already who would be the finals MVP going into it. But because the events that transpired with Jason Tatum losing finals MVP to Jaylen Brown, we're going to go ahead and give our finals MVPs as well anyway.
So, out east, I have a finals matchup of the Bucks and the Celtics. Part of me really wanted to get the Bucks to the finals here because for the past 5 or 6 years, there hasn't been a return to the finals from the last championship winning team. But when I look at this Celtics team, man, they're just... Dude.
Yeah.
That is damn near a super team without being labeled a super team. Like, they're so stacked with their starting lineup, and their bench is slept on. Like, I think last year I was kind of skeptical on their bench, but they're actually a productive bench, and they fit right in line with when they kind of stagger minutes of having 3 starters in the game and bringing 2 bench players in. Like, Peyton Pritchard fills his role. Sam Hauser is a knockdown shooter. Al Horford, when KP is back in the starting lineup, Al Horford, he's steady. And they brought in Lonnie Walker, who's like, they didn't even have to fucking do that. And he's a dynamic scorer. Like, that was so unnecessary, but they lucked into getting Lonnie Walker. So I'm like, I don't really see any flaws in this team again. So I really wanted to kind of rationalize how the Bucks could get past the Celtics, but I just think the Celtics are too deep of a team, and I have them returning to the finals. And then in the West, I have a Denver OKC matchup in the Western Conference Finals, and I'm gonna give it to Denver. I'm buying in on a resurgent year from Denver. I'm buying in on Christian Brown, Peyton Watson being valuable contributors in their year 2 and year 3 as their roles are more prominent with the team and expectations are there. I think the Nuggets had a little bit of a layover last season after winning the championship. I think that's subsided now, and I think they'll be on go this year, especially because I think their championship window is a little smaller than they originally anticipated with them losing a lot of players. So I think there will be a sense of urgency for them to kind of strike while the iron is hot with their current core, and I think they'll make it back to the finals this year.
Okay.
I have a question for Ryan. Ryan, what impact do you think Westbrook will have on the Nuggets, or will have?
I think he'll have a really good impact. I think he'll be a very good off-ball player, playing off of Jokic with backdoor cuts, and running the fast break with athletes like Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. on the wing. Mm-hmm. In Denver, they can take advantage of that home court advantage and that altitude, especially if you have Russell Westbrook in your second unit being able to run the show. There's an abundance of athletes on this team. I already spoke on Aaron Gordon and MPJ. Christian Brown is a good slasher. Peyton Watson's a dynamic slasher. So I think he'll have a good impact. I'm not saying he's going to be the reason that the Nuggets return to the championship, but I think he'll play a good role there with them.
Okay, all right.
All right, you want to go, Brent?
It's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
Go ahead.
At my East, I got the Heat against the Bucks. I already told you why my reasons for the Heat, but I just think the Bucks will be more cohesive together. And like Ryan said, it's not going to really be a Doc Rivers. It's going to be more so on Giannis and Dame and the starting lineup, to be honest. So I can see them bouncing back from a disappointing year from last year.
Uh-oh.
And, yeah. Yeah, so I got the Bucks.
I said uh-oh because I couldn't hear the last 5 seconds of what you said.
Oh, I'll just reset. I got the Bucks and the Heat. Bucks, like I said, like what you said, Ryan, just doing it because of Giannis and Dame. I don't really believe in Doc Rivers as a coach, but I think Giannis is strong enough to lead that team to that Eastern Conference Finals, not to the championship, but to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think the Bucks need a better coach. That's a different story for a different day. And then in the West, this might shock you, but I got the Lakers against the Nuggets. I think it'll be a rematch of the past 2 years of what we had in the playoffs, but I do think the Nuggets will edge off the Lakers. I do agree with you, Ryan. The Nuggets were lackadaisical last year for whatever reason. Going down 3-0 to the Wolves. I don't know how it's even possible, but I think the Nuggets will beat the Lakers and they will meet up again.
They went down 3-0?
I think they were.
I think it was 3-1, no?
Oh, I think the Nuggets were up 3-2 on that series because he said we'll be back in Minnesota or something for Game 7. I'm pretty sure Denver was up 3-2
you are right.
that
Yeah,
series.
you are right. They did play 7, but I don't remember what the series was at.
Yeah, I thought it was. I remember they lost like the first. Yeah, because we had Jamal Murray got.
They might have lost the first 2. Maybe that was what it was. But I'm pretty sure the Nuggets were up 3-2 in that series, and they lost Game 6 and 7.
Okay, well, if you can, maybe research that because I don't have the thing on me. But if you can, but I got the Nuggets and the Lakers, and I got the Nuggets winning against the Lakers in their finals rematch of 2 years ago.
Oh man, I don't want to see that. That will be a massacre. Can I just ask you, like, what do you have against the Celtics? You don't even have them making it to the conference finals. I don't understand. Like, what have you seen from the Celtics? I asked you this last year, and we thought you were crazy. And they walked through the regular season unfucked with. They walked through the playoffs. They only lost 3 games. So
you know why
I don't really see what you think they're gonna fall off. Like I don't.
Did you see the competition they played? Come on, man! Like the competition they played, they didn't play 150 win and playoff team in the road to the finals. Did you know that they played the Pacers? They played the who else they play?
They did have an easy road, but they were a number 1 seed in the East.
It wasn't. They didn't play 150 win plus team throughout to the finals.
That's what happens when you're in the East. You get number 1. That was like the whole driving force for it.
Do you want the Celtics to make the other teams win more games?
No, I'm just saying that their competition was easier to get to the finals. Let me ask you this, Ryan. If the Celtics played the Knicks in the playoffs last year, would they have beat the Knicks?
Hell yeah, they would have beat the Knicks.
Yeah, I think they beat the Knicks last year for sure.
In how many games?
5 at most.
5 or 6. Wow.
I said,
dude, Brunson was gassed. Brunson was gassed against the Pacers. That was a big reason that they lost because his workload was so high. That would be no different against the fucking Celtics.
I just don't. For whatever reason, I feel like the championship they won against the Dallas Mavericks. I give them credit. It was they won, But I just don't.
Dog walked them. Wasn't even close.
Yeah, but that was for other reasons. But I just think I got the Heat win this year, or going to the finals this year. I just think the Celtics won't be this. They have the same team, but I feel like age is gonna kill them. Drew Holiday's getting older, Horford's getting older. Porzingis is injury prone, so I don't see the same success.
Okay, Drew Holiday's older, but he's not that old. I don't think he's showing any signs of regression.
Yeah.
Al Horford, it makes sense.
Yeah,
that motherfucker's ape shit. Sure. But I think
Porzingis injury.
Did you know their record without Porzingis last year?
I know, intrigued me.
I'm pretty sure they had a damn good record without Porzingis last year. Let me look it up, but somebody talk while I do that.
So I'll give you guys just because we were talking about the series last year between Denver and the Nuggets. Minnesota went up 2-0.
Okay.
And then Denver won 2 at home. And then they won 1 away. And then the Timberwolves came back those next 2 games.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, thank you for that, Joe. Mm-hmm. The Celtics were 21-4 in the regular season without Porzingis and 10-2 in the playoffs without Porzingis. An 84% win percentage without Porzingis. Yeah, which was better than their win percentage with Porzingis. So
let me ask you this: do you think the East has gotten better? I would say yes.
They got a little better.
Yeah, it's gotten
I would say better. Yeah. Okay. Remember last year when they played Cleveland? Cleveland had no Jared Allen. They had no Donovan Mitchell. I think Mobley was out even for some games too. That's who they played against.
Even if they had them, I still would have taken the Celtics.
Well, we don't know. That's a hypothetical.
Okay. Well, we're talking on a hypothetical right now.
And I think it's there's a lot of evidence to say that the Celtics would win. They played all of these teams in the regular season when a lot of them were healthy, and they dog walked all of them. They won 66 games. So
64.
Like we've seen, all right, 64, whatever the fuck. We've seen them play the field, and they dog walked them in the regular season. So what? They didn't see a lot of teams at full health in the playoffs, but they beat the teams that were in front of them. And I don't see a reason to suggest that they wouldn't do so this year. I mean, obviously it can happen that they lose, but I think it's likely that they, at the very least, get back to the conference finals.
Yeah. I agree. I agree on that. I'll go into mine. So we'll start in the East since we're already there. I got Boston making it for sure. And then I had 2 teams that, and I'm not gonna sit on the fence. I'll pick one, but it was the Bucks and the Knicks. So the Bucks, for pretty much obvious reasons, they're just a solid team. The Knicks, though, I think they had a great offseason, and they're just gonna look healthy. They're gonna look like that team. To me, they're gonna have a Boston look being in the East throughout the regular season. Maybe not 64 wins. I think they'll, like Ryan said, in those high 50s, but they're gonna be a force for sure. And my caveat, I guess, on it is if the Celtics manage to match up with the Bucks before the Knicks have to see them, depending on how those brackets are, the Celtics will beat the Bucks, and the Knicks will play. If the Knicks have to play the Bucks, I'm gonna pick the Knicks because I'm big on the Knicks this year, but I could easily see the Bucks beating the Knicks. I'd say just because I have to not sit on the fence, it's gonna be Boston winning against the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then to go to the West, I really liked. I was so close, Bryant, to saying the Lakers. You have no idea. I really want the Lakers. And this is just a bias, obviously. To take the bias aside, because I don't know who they'd have to beat. They'd have to not face the Nuggets to get there, for sure. But I've got in my Western Conference Finals OKC making it and the Mavericks making it. And what... I actually have OKC beating the Mavericks for that.
Okay. Talk to me a little bit about Mavericks. Because I don't think Bryant and I are very high on the Mavericks this year. Well, I could be wrong. Maybe, Bryant, you're high on the Mavericks, but you're not high on Klay Thompson. But
oh, hell no.
I feel like there might be a little bit of a regression, but you have Kyrie and Luka on the same team. Like, those are playoff players. Like, they are phenomenal playoff players. So I think they're my biggest thing, or my biggest reason why I think the Mavericks will make it. They really impressed me last year, and They just kind of ran out of gas. I think they have enough to make it to the. I think they have enough to make it to the finals. Actually, they could if they matched up with OKC, they could beat them. I don't think they have enough to win the finals because they don't have enough gas in the tank. But I do think they'll make it that far, at least Western Conference Finals.
I'm just a little worried about them defensively on the perimeter. Because they have two great bigs defensively in Lively and Gafford, and those are always going to be your anchors of your defense. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be able to protect the paint a lot of the times, but when you do give up a lot of chances of getting to the paint, then you're just playing a numbers game. Because I don't really think they have a good, like a guy that you're like, yeah, we want to throw him all the time on the opposing team's best scorer. Mm-hmm. So I feel like and I'm a big defense guy, like just in general. So that's kind of why I'm wary about Dallas. I think a big thing that why I could maybe hop on the bandwagon of Dallas, maybe getting back to the conference finals, would be exactly what you said, the playoff moments for Kyrie and Luka. Those are guys that more often than not will rise up to the occasion in high pressure moments, and you're going to see those in the playoffs. And there's a short list of players that you would want in those moments, and Luka and Kyrie are definitely on that short list.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the matchup, I just think that what OKC proved they can do last year was enough for me to say that they've now been in the moment, that they're not going to fall short of it or anything like that. They got better in Alex Caruso and losing Josh Giddey. So I think that's probably a lock. Who that second team will be, I'm not too sure. But I feel like OKC is a lock for the Western Conference Finals this year. Yeah, they'll beat them.
All right, here we go. The last section. It's going to be Finals MVP and Finals winner. Ryan's going to go ahead and give us the matchups if you don't remember. But let's get right into it.
Gotcha. So Bryant had Denver and Miami rematch. You had OKC and Boston. And I have Boston and Denver. Alrighty. So now we'll get into the championships, or the winners. Bryant, I forgot what you said in your bold take. Was Miami winning the championship this year?
Of course. Of course. Okay. Miami's going to win. It can be I just got confidence in the Heat. And call me a homer because I'm from there.
You're not from there. You're not from there. Stop lying to the people. You're not from there.
I'm joking. I just like the Heat. I like the Heat culture. I just think whoever they play at, whether it's the Nuggets or OKC or Mavericks or Temple, I just think whoever they play against, they're gonna win. That's my mindset. I just think they're gonna win regardless who they play.
So you have Miami winning the finals?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Regardless of who comes out.
Who was the matchup again? You had Denver?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got Jimmy Butler winning Finals MVP.
I feel like if they were to match up, don't you think Denver has a little bit of the edge?
Because Denver literally dog walked them 2 years ago. We saw this transpire in front of our very own eyes, and it's like you just don't want to use what has happened as evidence. That's literally what evidence is. Evidence is tangible knowledge that we can look at and pick up or observe that has happened. This has happened, Bryant.
I have one thing on my side. They have Westbrook, and wherever Westbrook goes, he fails. So that's my knowledge. That's what I'm going with.
All
right, bro.
I'll get into mine. Yeah. So I have Boston and OKC in the finals. Nice. Now I did bring up how they now have a little bit of experience. OKC. That was enough to get them through the West, but to me, Boston is just better than the West. Boston's just the best team in the league, and they have a lot of guys with experience in the playoffs, far in the playoffs. I think Jason Tatum's definitely coming in here with the chip on his shoulder. My biggest hope for Jason Tatum, honestly, is he doesn't shoot himself out of the game because he's trying to, win these accolades or do what we think we want him to do. If he just plays like he does in the regular season, not a little more nonchalant almost, I feel like they'll be just fine. They'll be just fine regardless. That's the thing with Boston is you don't need your best player playing at his best level for them to win. They have plenty of all-star caliber players that can do the job. And it's just going to come down to the experience between those two teams. OKC might do it eventually, especially if they manage to keep this core a little longer. But yeah, I'd have Boston in that matchup. Oh,
yep,
as well, I'd have Jason Tatum. If Jason Tatum's winning Finals MVP is a prediction of mine too. Jason Tatum will win.
He kind of has to. If Jaylen Brown wins back-to-back fucking Finals MVP,
yeah, he better not. Yeah, I'm predicting he's gonna go crazy.
Oh yeah, this is a good thing that you mentioned that, Brian. Oh, I guess I don't have to ask Brian. We obviously know he's gonna have Jimmy Butler win Finals MVP. So yeah, my matchup is Denver and Boston. This is the matchup that a lot of people expected last Finals, and we obviously didn't get it. I think it will be a good series. It probably goes 6, I would say, but I'm still gonna give the edge to Boston just because that team is so deep, man. It still hasn't even registered with me that Jaylen Brown is now a former Finals MVP.
Right.
It's because Jason Tatum had his shitter. I mean, he just didn't shoot the ball well, and it's pretty much falling in line with what you said, Joe. They don't need Jason Tatum to go God mode to win 4 games. Like, he can take over a game or 2 and they'll be fine because they have so much depth in there. So they're top heavy, but they have depth at the same time, which is crazy. Brad Stevens did a hell of a job orchestrating this team and putting it together. I don't think they can be fucked with, man. I think we're gonna get the first repeat championship winner since Golden State.
Yeah, dude, it'll be cool to see too. Honestly, even though it's Boston, man. Even though it's Boston.
Yeah, I know. They're just gonna start widening the gap in titles between LA and Boston again. While we wait for JJ Redick to.
And don't worry.
The next phase.
We fucking
led by Bronny James, point guard of the future.
I was gonna say, don't worry, we got Bronny James to rescue that trash ass motherfucker.
The Lakers are too concerned on fucking keeping LeBron happy, bro. It's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
But anyway,
this is why he isn't
Bronny
the GOAT,
James,
in my opinion.
Dynamic duo moving forward. It's another episode. Well, I mean, that's the season predicted by us 3. Any other lasting thoughts?
No, I think I got all my thoughts out there.
In the miscellaneous category.
I don't have any.
Bronny James will be in the G League. And
you said what?
Bronny James will be in the G League after 1 month with the Lakers. Doo-doo ass.
I could easily see that. I could see it sooner than that, to be honest with you.
I'm just being nice.
That's not even a bold take.
Yeah, he's not going to be on the bench for more than 5 years.
He's trash.
I can't believe, honestly, though, I mean, I hope he does somewhat decent for himself. I really do. But,
of course.
Like looking at it from trying to put yourself in his shoes, dude, that's got to be tough. That whole situation.
It's a rough position, especially, with this draft in particular, where there's not a Wemby, a Paolo, an Ant.
Zion.
The first pick was Zachary Versace. Yeah, Zion. The first pick was Zachary Versace, and he's getting no coverage whatsoever. It's like Bronny James is not even really a second round talent, but he's getting the attention of a generational first round pick, first overall pick. So it's I can really imagine that. It's a rough position to be in. So of course you're gonna hope for the best for him.
Bro, when you see 19-point fucking ESPN video and it's 19 points LeBron and then 0 but they were both on the cover, it's Oh God, dude, that's just wrong. That is just wrong, bro. On so many levels.
The worst. What's worse is when like I'm scrolling through YouTube or some shit, and you know how Bleacher Report or House of Highlights will have like a highlight montage of like an individual player's stat line.
Yeah.
And they'll typically put it together for like 25 points from Joel Embiid or 20 points and 12 assists for Halliburton, and they force one for somebody like Bronny James or Ben Simmons, and it's 2 points.
2 points.
5 turnovers in the thumbnail. In the thumbnail, clear as day. It's like, oh my god, bro, you're just farming for an engagement and shit. There's no need to put that giant ass 2 there.
Yeah, that's just wrong to me. I feel bad for Bronny, but
I don't deserves it.
How does he deserve it?
What?
He was pushed into
What
this.
is wrong with you?
He should just stay one extra year on the college level.
Yeah, I just don't think he. I really like. I mean, this is all speculation, but I don't think any of this was his choice. Really, like I feel like he was definitely pushed into this.
Oh,
his dad was talking crazy about him, like
he
should be on the team.
That Bronny can take a lot of these players' positions right now.
Bro,
he still has
he's averaging 4 points in college on a USC team that didn't even make the NCAA tournament.
And then now LeBron wants to say shit like, "Oh, he's his own man. Let him speak." Motherfucker, behind closed doors, you spanking his ass, yo. Okay, you better fucking start making shots. Like it's just not right. I think personally, everything going on there. I hope he goes to the G League and just figures it out there if he can.
I don't think he'll be that successful in the G League either.
I don't
people
either.
are starving for a position in the NBA.
And then they're trying to do the same shit to Bryce too. And apparently Bryce is even worse. He's like a spot up.
He might
I
be taller.
haven't really seen too much on Bryce.
Yeah, I haven't seen a ton on him either, but I keep seeing highlights talking about he's better than Bronny.
I think he's just taller.
He is taller for sure. Right, yeah, he is taller for sure. But I haven't really seen much on like his actual game. But I don't know, Brian. Jordan didn't get his kids into the NBA.
Jordan's the GOAT, dude. Just stop.
Yeah, LeBron managed to get a bum into the NBA, bro. Like, bro.
Hey, dude. At least Jordan's sons went to college. They knew they weren't good enough to be in the league. Jordan could have pushed.
All right, we getting off topic. Hey, let's wrap things up.
Yeah.
We can
wrap it up.
Thank you guys for joining me. It was, yeah. I'll wrap it up real quick. Thank you guys for joining me. It was a pleasure predicting the season. We can come back to this and see who was accurate, who was far off, and it will be a big laugh in the past for us. But thank you guys for joining me. Bryant, go ahead and sign out.
Good night.
It's 11 fucking 12 right now. Yeah, y'all have a good day. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for having us on, right?
Yeah, thank you, Ryan Bevins.
Of course, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.